Uh, so it is two poems, part one and part two of To My Youth. Uh, I know sometimes the words they don't seem very direct. They probably seem a little encrypted. So I'll try to go slow. Maybe I don't know if that'll help or not. But and it's not really so much of what you think I'm meaning, but what it is that you get out of it, your personal interpretation. That's it. Uh, but this is again To My Youth, part one and part two. Here we go. Trying to slow down, speeding between places, reading between lines, lanes, untied shoelaces, races, losses versus gains. Two to three faces seen in the same places, forgot the name, but the memory traces back to when I first had a thirst to proclaim non absolute truths, trying to inject that which I failed to inspect, invisible roots, hand me down concepts of inedible fruits. Some are naturally bitter. There's no disputes on how we actually litter our streets with bare feet for like 3.5 weeks. I've sat in this chair. For those who have taken their seats, would you give back their second flight stare, step two, in exchange for the hands that couldn't prep you? Now, there's no particular point, just a rhetorical question. Take it as an oracle or a subliminal suggestion to listen to the heart. Now, at the end of this session, you will learn that life is art. So, we must not assimilate, imitate, or modify whether or not we qualify to a prescribed standard. Be a free thinker. Even if you're a son of Sanford, student at Stanford, or a recreational drinker. You see, I like to tinker with psychological gadgets, wish they had pageants for all natural Nubian queens, multiple facets of life, yet I argue that there are no American dreams coming true. Despite your constitutional right to pursue, it's a basic innate drive to subdue. An inmate stays alive because he or she is proactive on cue. I know. Low wage ain't attractive, yet payment is due. It's all common. But does it make sense? Don't misconstrue the objectives of the powers that be. We are the collective. They're the cowards of this so-called democracy. But some people are actually made of plastic. If my humor was capricious, how drastic would it be to be facetious when the grief is so extreme? Piece us to the corner, build us a prop without a beautiful theme, a performer restricted to sidewalks, so I loiter around legislative poles and potholes. What is a voter? Community roles, an empty lot, freeway tolls. Man, this is all I got. I'm going to take this loose change and tighten it up. The mandatory 3 hots, give me 2 colds, a cot, a coffee pot, and a cup. Admire the craftsmanship I put in this hut. We must graft hand into intent, follow that gut feeling, interrupt the regularly scheduled program. The prior generation still trapped in a slow jam. That was part one. To My Youth. This is part two. Patient. Please, please be patient. Give us emergency room. There. Stand adjacent to this insurgency. No longer consumed. You see, the game needs a laxative. Well, if you can't stand the fumes, regurgitate at will. Here's an incentive. Fresh lemonade on your front porch. Going back and forth on your wooden swing, but a theme to experience that which is pleasant, but the bullets, forcing their way into the flesh of a peasant, disrupting the internal. Whatever is done and not eternal is written in his journal. Man, would would somebody kidnap my right kidney before I pass on Sydney? He left me exposed to the black market, put my mother on that jitney, treated Mary as real estate. Her freshly new carpet smell became a deal that no trick could ever escape. So what would possess me to victimize unconsciously? Would she have submitted consciously? Honestly, I must have walked through a portal, stepped into hell and thought I was immortal. I've been going through this transitional transformation, trying to transplant self, need transportation, but I can't transcend without God's help. I just want to transmit transparent, translate these emotions I felt, you know, find me a queen, make her heart melt, trying to slow down, attached to the safe belt, back in my cell. I'm listening to community radio. What's the ratio of avid listeners compared to the avid petitioners who sacrifice their wealth, their overall health to provide interdependent thought, who die and never experience the victory, yet these are the warriors who created the history we need. We need a synthesis of mutual understanding. Prison sentences now have deep paragraphs. Taxpayers demanding the courts to be apathetic when the mirror laughs back the image is too cosmetic. And such a pathetic judicial system that made the victim victimize the victim, perpetuating the criminal justice system. Biological illnesses ignored, social factors never deeply explored, lifestyle choices based on what the poor can afford. We've adored this culture too long. My redemption restored, yet alone in this cave, needing to be strong because it is you I must save. That is to my youth, part one and two. Uh, Hold on, I have one more. Yes, it was not ready. I did not have it in my hand, but it is in my hand. Uh, but real quick, and so I know some of these people. I mean, well, not people, but I know some of these pieces may be political or may not be political. I'm not really for sure. I try not to get caught up on the labels too much. Uh, these pieces are old. They're like 2011, 2012. Uh, so has my perspective changed much? Uh, when it comes to the next generation, when it comes just to our young people, my attitude has not changed. I just turned 46 not too long ago, and so I really feel like whatever it was that I was going to do, uh, I should have been making better lifestyle choices so I could do that. And so now coming out of prison, my goal and objective is to carve out a pathway for the next generation of young brothers and sisters, starting from day one. And so this is why I'm most definitely part of Orca. Our founder, Samuel Taylor, walked yard with this brother, meditated with this brother, politic with this brother, built with this brother, and we share the same sentiment on educating and uplifting, seeing the growth and development of our young people come out of the dire situations that they're in. Uh, Real quick, another shout out to uh, our president, Christopher Watkins. He's our president and social development coordinator. The brother I spent time on the yard with, discussing these things. And so here we are now, taking an opportunity to apply our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and through our observation, we have a handle on this. And so, shout out to our executive director, Tina Watkins Hayes, and shout out to our social media manager, my queen, my baby. Mwah. Miss Roche Adwin. Yeah, she's Adwin now. I'm claiming her. That's my wife. But let me get to this last piece. Uh, this is Street Corner. Uh, the other poems were titled to my youth. This is most definitely dedicated to my youth as well. So, these pieces were written with you guys in mind. You're between the ages of 18 and 25. Man, I know it's rough out there. If you don't have the education, the skills, that's needed, man, to get through the resources, man, I know it's rough for you. I've been there. A young junkie at one time. Yeah, I started smoking primos, made it to that pipe by the time I was 19. I got real world experience. I done been everything under the sun. I done been a part of the gangster culture, the dope fiend, the robber, the womanizer. I done been there. But it's redemption time. Uh, this poem is called Street Corner. This is actually part two. Don't know where part one is. I'll find it for you though. It's not that long. Street Corner, part two. Man, man, you gotta work from the inside out. Force times distance. This is genocide en route. We, yeah, we in a bout with youth resistance. Must exert energy on the child. They need assistance in order to move. Too many documents been filed on the behavior. We gotta apply pressure through the commotion. All right? They need a tangible savior. If there's no movement, no improvement has been made. No labor, no student has been saved. Property value down, poverty is up 13%. I gotta get paid. First thing is the rent. So I'm going to come up at the expense of another, left him leaning against the fence. Man, fuck his mother. How do I conquer this self-hate? And I got a dope fiend brother who can't escape the gutter mentality. My whole self-concept tailored to measurements beyond my reality. I think Tupac said our lifestyles were in closed caption restricted to a certain locality. Behind the curtain is another fatality. Who exposed us to this contraption of hustle, persuaded us to eat without a napkin, told us intelligence was weaker than muscle. And I was verbally abused. So every playground tussle was used as a systematic program to conform the mental. I didn't know I was confused. I didn't know how to be gentle or sentimental. I was bruised. I remember trapping in the rental. Wondered why I lie and utilize violence. Make payment on dues owed to the devil, but he's invisible, yet I force my community into silence. Would someone increase the noise level? I'm starting to hear the voices again. The choices are not that attractive, but this is our shrine, our most famous landmark. And I don't own a brick, though interested in hand art. I can articulate water with a sick flow. Do we gotta stand apart? Heart, self-love? Purchase a few yards. Build different porches. Observe them sidewalks before you pass them torches. Uh, that is Street Corner. That is part two. I did fail to include at the beginning of this poem that I will be using profanity. If someone was offended, I dearly apologize. And that is the end of today's session. Thank you very much for listening. Much salute, man, to all the guys and goddesses out there, man. All the brothers and sisters, man, that are striving for their divinity. All the brothers and sisters out there, man, that are taking care of their children, man. Not just raising your children, but rearing your children. And this means that you're actually observing them, looking at their natural inclinations, see what they are or seem to be innately gravitating to, and you're investing in that. And if you don't have the finances or the resources to do that, please, I'm petition you, I beg you, I am pleading with you, find a way to invest in your child. Please. All right. This is Tau Kamau Adwin, Education Program Coordinator for Orca. I am most happy and pleased, joyous to be serving the people, man, with my voice. All right, y'all.